Some of the Pharisees said, "This man is not from God because he does not keep the Sabbath." But others said, "How can a sinful man do such signs?" And there was a division among them. So they said to the blind man again, "What do you have to say about him, since he opened your eyes?" And he said, "He is a prophet." Now the Jews did not believe that he had been blind and gained his sight, since they until they summoned the parents of who had gained his sight. He asked them, "Is this your son, who you say was born blind? How does he now see?" His parents answered and said, "We know that this is our son and that he was born blind. We do not know." His parents said this because they were afraid of the Jews. The Jews had already agreed that if anyone acknowledged him as the Christ, he would be expelled from the synagogue. For this reason, his parents said, "He is of age. Question him." So a second time, they called the man who had been blind and said to him, "Give God the praise. We know that this man is a sinner." And he replied, "He is a sinner. I do not know. One thing I do know is that I was blind and now I see." So they said to him, "What did he do to you? How did he open your eyes?" And he answered them, "I told you already, and you did not listen. Why do you want to hear it again? Do you want to become his disciples too?" They ridiculed him and said, "You are that man's disciple. We are disciples of Moses. We know that God spoke to Moses, but we do not know where this one is from." The man answered and said to them, "This is what is so amazing, that you do not know where he is from, yet he opened my eyes. We know that God does not listen to sinners, but if one is devout and does his will, he listens to him. It is unheard of that anyone ever opened the eyes of a person born blind. If this man were not from God, not be able to do anything." They answered and said to him, "You were born totally in sin, and are you trying to teach us?" Then they threw him out. When Jesus heard that they had thrown him out, he found him and said, "Believe in the Son of Man?" He answered and said, "Who is he, sir, that I may believe in him?" Jesus said to him, "You have seen him, and the one speaking with you is he." He said, "I do believe, Lord," and he worshiped him. Then Jesus said, "I came into the world for judgment, so that those who do not see might see, and those who do see might become blind." Some of the Pharisees who were with him heard this and said to him, "Surely we are not also blind, are we?" And Jesus said to them, "If you were blind, you would have no sin, but now you are saying, 'We see,' so your sin remains." The gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. We heard the story of the man born blind just now. And when I read over this story during the week, it reminded me of another healing of the blind man that Jesus did in one of the other gospels. In that particular gospel, the blind man said to Jesus, "Lord, I want to see." Today, as we celebrate this Eucharist, I want to see. This is the first Mass that I have ever had without people. Well, there's a couple people here, brothers here, and Father Raoul is filming this, but without people. And I want to see faces. I want to see responses. I want to see prayerful stances. I want to see, but not at this time. And I think in a special way, then it makes me, aware of this man who was born blind. He never did see until Jesus cured him, but I'm sure he wanted to see. He heard about people seeing and so forth. He had no idea what it was to see, but he wanted to see. And in our gospel, we have two things happening. We have the man born blind coming to see, being cured of his blindness, something that, as the man says in his witness, no one has ever heard of a man